Hi, I'm Commissioner Nancy Jester, and welcome to Nancy Jester Reports for Tuesday, August 1st, 2017. I did not do a video of the last board meeting we had, which was on July 27th, so I want to catch up to a couple of things. We opened the animal shelter, so that's exciting. Go check it out, find your new best friend. And at our last meeting, we also did some traffic calming petitions. We had overwhelming support on those, so they will be going in the Embry Hills area on Embry Circle, Embry Hills Drive, and Alton Road between Chamblee, Tucker, and David Road. There were two different agenda items, but those were the locations for that. So good work on the citizens getting that done there. So we hope that will slow everyone down and make the neighborhoods a little bit more friendly. We also last week covered something that was a little bit alarming to me. Apparently the Keep DeKalb Beautiful, which joined Keep America Beautiful as an affiliate in 1978, has we have not filed the necessary paperwork for our credentialing with them, and that's a problem because then we won't have access to grant money, so we have to remediate that immediately. So that was a big discussion we had in committee at last week's meeting. So stay tuned, I'll give you an update there, but we had to submit some documentation and do some things to come back into compliance with that affiliation. And again, it gives us access to grants over almost $3 million in grants this year will be awarded. So okay, so for today, so that was last week. For today we met as a committee of the whole, and so that's where we meet and just go over our agenda for next week where we'll vote, and we also hear presentations. So we actually had a very light summer agenda today. The presentation we got was from Decide DeKalb. We had a panel group of Devon Hudson, Wesley Knapp, Thomas Rowe, and Carter Wood speak to us about site selection process and what challenges and what opportunities we have here in DeKalb for locating businesses. So that was a very robust discussion, very interesting. I continue to believe that we need to create the necessary and sufficient conditions to provide for economic activity, and when we do that, such as cleaning up blight, having better policing, and attracting young people with disposable income to all areas of the county, then we'll see vibrant economic activities occur there. But it was an interesting discussion, so if you have a chance, watch it online. It'll be on the public access channel, so so very good. Again, we had a very light agenda, just going over a few sort of mundane purchasing things. We did have more interesting work in committee today. So the Public Works Committee, which I sit on, it's chaired by Commissioner Greg Adams. We met today and discussed some perfunctory things, but then also we talked about our management contract that we have with C.H. Jim Hill regarding the management of the federal consent decree that we're under for sanitary sewer overflows, and the change order was not looked upon favorably by the committee. I will say that. We didn't make a recommendation. We're deferring it. We're holding it. The change order seems to not be congruent with the timeline of the consent decree, which I think is inherently risky. I'd like to see the timeline and the scope better flushed out, and the timeline congruent with the consent decree's actual deadline, which is in June of 2020. So we're still working on that. I'm concerned about what the administration brought forth there. So that was something of note that we need to keep watching in Public Works. We also had our FAB committee meeting, our Finance, Audit, and Budget Committee meeting, we went over the financial statements for the county in both the general fund, the designated funds, and also the Department of Watershed. Things are tracking as you would expect through June. These were the close of June statements. So nothing really anomalous there. So good job on getting these statements to us, and I think the spending rate is as one would expect for the budget. We also went over our policies. We have been in the process of doing major policy revisions and adoptions where we don't have policies. So we have an investment and debt policy that I think we're coming out of draft form soon now. We'll be circulating that with some professionals just to see if they agree with the direction we're going. We're trying to use best practices and standards, industry standards, in developing these investment and debt policies. So those we had basically a second review on today, and we took a first stab at the P-card policy and travel policy. So really updating those. We had updated the P-card policy a couple years back, but we need to refine it and really codify it. And there's some additional legislation that passed over the last couple years that we need to incorporate. So we had a good discussion there, and again, we're just starting that. And then we talked about a travel policy so that we can codify how that will work for employees of the county as well as your elected officials. So that's what we did today. So stay tuned and join me next time on Nancy Jester Reports.